Hello, it's Wednesday, March 31st, 2021, and today we're going to be streaming some stuff for the, Dungeon Crawler Game Jam 2021, which starts in like 2 hours. We're not really working on the jam stuff quite yet. We're going to be working on some of the stuff in preparation for that. So what we have thus far is our ship map spawns, our little map spawns, wherever it might be. There we go. Yeah, so it spawns a map of a ship. Right now it's spawning 2 levels. The top level of the deck here, which is completely flat. I need to actually add the other details to this. But it also spawns the interior of the ship itself. So right now we are in the interior, we can move around, etc., etc. It's not... yeah, okay. And then if we click this button, we can open doors. We can use this to interact with various walls or with various staircases and, go up and down stairs. It's not the best animation, but, it works. And we can't walk off the edge of the ship, etc., etc. So all of that works. That's good. And a little bit of Z fighting, but I need to update the textures anyway. And whenever I update all the textures, I'll go through and change the doors so that they don't do that. What we need to do is we need to get one sort of the entrance and exit points sort of established and how we're going to enter and exit various ships, and then also how we're going to, we need to get the actual main map part of this working. So what I'm going to do is, first off, I'm going to go into the map component, and I'm going to change that to not automatically spawn stuff. What is that map all about? So hey Omar, how's it going? So what is that map all about? So this map. So this is the map of a ship. And so, oh my god, Google Play. Stop annoying me, Google Play. Okay. Oh yeah, so in this game, basically, there's going to be like a sort of an overworld kind of map, and then the overworld is going to be comprised of a bunch of squares, and then you go into one of the squares, and it's like a sort of ship battle, and there's going to be like ship-to-ship combat, etc. It's going to be very simplified combat, but after you do the combat section, you will get pushed onto a ship. So I'm thinking for these ships, you'll spawn on the deck, and the idea is that you'll go down into the hold and try to raid it. So there'll be kind of enemies wandering around in here, etc., etc. Yeah, it's kind of a... I know, it's not the best ship. It's not the best ship, but, it works. And this will be the smallest sort of size of ship. So there will be much, much larger versions. I think the largest one is 4 times the size of this. So yeah. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do today, is sort of get the map part actually working. It's clean. Thank you. Yeah, so the overworld. I actually want to get the overworld part working too. Where is it? Yeah. So in the overworld, we'll have, this will be the overworld control menu, that will be hidden, and then, where is it? Over here, the actual controls will be hidden. There we go. That's what the overworld bit will look like. And so let's go into the map component and try to get that to not spawn things on awake. Alright. So if current equal that, we can just indent that a little bit. Alright, so we'll say public void create map, or I guess spawn map. And we'll just grab all of this and move it into here. So now it doesn't do that on awake, which is what we want. Curious if this will break anything. Let's check it out. Let's find out. Does anything break? No. Okay, good. That's exactly what I wanted to happen. Nothing breaks. Okay. So the actual map itself, or the overworld map, I believe it is 6 by 8, I think is the size that I always have it. So if we create a UI, let's create a panel. So this is going to be, no, that can be there. I think it needs to be 240 in and then 240 to the left. Yes. All right. Then we can remove this, and then we can add this will be the map. well, this will be the overworld map. Then we can add a grid layout component. Yeah, grid layout group. So what we'll do is we'll have a UI image. That will be one of our tiles. Then it'll be the upper left. That's probably fine. Start axis horizontal. Upper center. No, upper left. Yeah, okay. We'll just start at the upper left and then have a flexible. We can either do rows or columns. We'll have a number of columns. It'll be 8. So we want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we just want to make sure that this is about right. So if we say 200, that's a little bit too much. I think it's 180. It's 170 with a certain spacing. It's 170 by 170, and I think, what is it, 10 by 10? Not quite. Let's try middle center as the alignment. Okay, I think that's fine. And then we duplicate this a couple times. Yeah, basically the main map will look like this. And so each of these will be kind of a sort of square of the ocean, I guess? I don't know. Yeah, probably the ocean. And so the goal is that you start somewhere on the left-hand side and that you have 20 turns to sort of move all the way to the right-hand side and explore the inside of the ocean. And there will be some enemy at the other side. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. Also, oh no, that's fine. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to delete all this. This will be the template. We'll have our template systems. And this will be the, I guess we need like an overworld map component. Let's go to scripts, components, overworld map component. Overworld map component. And what this will do is this overworld map component will actually create the overworld map and manage the player moving on it. Not going to do anything too crazy though. Oh, that's interesting. So it looks like creating stuff from the Unity editor does actually put it in the namespace, like the namespace that I set up. So that appears to be working. I hadn't noticed that before. Yeah, I had set up a namespace and yeah, I didn't know if it was working. Good to know though. Alright, so we'll have a protected, this will be the sphere rect transform, this will be the contents, we're going to serialize that, wherever that might be, and then we'll have a protected, this isn't going to be a rect transform, this is going to be an overworld map tile, or I guess overworld tile component. Problem is that I mean, actually, what is it? Is it Alt Enter? Move to namespace? Yeah, there we go. There. Move that to namespace. Okay. And this will handle when the player clicks on a tile. So this will be an overworld tile component. This will be the template. And then we can serialize this out. What we will do is in private void awake, we'll set up a width and a height. Public int height. What we will do is we will say enumerable, well, we need link for this, using system link. We'll say enumerable dot range 0 to the width, 0 to width dot for each, or no, we need to do toList first. Yeah, toList for each. This will be, if it's the width, it'll be each x value. And then for the y, do enumerable range 0 to height. I think this actually fills out the width first. So we probably want to do 0 to height actually. think that's right. And then we say toList for each, and this will be for each y value. I'm going to put this in here. Actually, I think we can do that, right? Yeah, I think that works. Okay. That's fine. Okay. So we have this. Probably want that there. And so for each of these, what we want to do is we want to say var tile is equal to instantiate the template, and then what we will do is we will have the content is the parent. I think we can do this. So this should just create a width being 8 and the height being 6. So this should create an 8x6 grid on startup if I did that right. Alright, so we can actually turn that invisible, and then we want the overworld map component. Yeah. Want that, and then we'll put an overworld tile component on U. Set U as the template, and then ourselves as the content. And so what we want to do with tiles, we want to say tile.gameObject.setActiveTrue. And I think this will actually fail, but I might be wrong. But I'm pretty sure it will. No, it doesn't. Okay. I'm still confused as to why it doesn't, but sure, whatever. So all of this seems to be good. Let's rename these to have tile.gameObject.name. Let's rename them so that we can actually know what their coordinates are. It's always nice. So this will be tile, tile at x and y. Okay, so 0, 0 should be in the top left, and then 8, 8 should be in the, or 7, 5 is in the top, or in the lower right, yep. And 7, 0 is over there. Okay, that's good. I mean, it's inverted, but that's actually okay. Okay, so probably the next thing we want to do is we want to get the player's sort of character, wherever it might be, wherever we might put that. In the template, let's make this like a cooler kind of color, kind of like that. A deeper kind of blue for the, or yeah, bluish color for the ocean. Yeah, something like that's okay. Probably need to change the background, but other than that. Okay, so we have that. And then what we want is we probably want a UI, we want an image, and we want this to have some kind of ship. Sure, we'll use the caravel, that's fine. And we want that up here. This will be the player overworld, like the overworld player. Yeah. And I think it needs to be about 150 by 150. I think that's fine. Yeah, it's probably good. And then we can just center it somewhere. Yeah, we can just set its coordinates to be equal to the coordinates of whatever the player is, whatever tile the player is on. Let's actually create a parent for this. And then just set the width and height to 0. There we go. Yeah, okay. So now we can move the parent around, and if we wanted to animate the player, we can do that too. So yeah, this will be the overworld player, and then this will be the graphics for it. Okay. And so what we want to do in the map component, or the overworld map, is we want to track that. So we want to have a rect transform. We want to say that this is the overworld player. Oh, we'll just call it the player, actually. It's probably fine. Do we really want to do that? No. What we want to do is we want this to be its own component. We want this to be a follow target UI component. Or we'll say follow Yeah, this will just be follow target component. And we can move this, Alt Enter through to here, and then we just select this namespace, that's fine. All right, have a public, or not public, public, transform, or no, rect transform. This will be the target, and then we will have a private void update. So on update, we want to, interesting. So one thing I guess that we could do is we could set our own, because in this case, for the player, we're going to want to set the, we're going to want a rect transform to follow the actual transform. And I think we only have GameObject.transform. Or sorry, I think we only have transform. I don't think we have rect transform. Yeah, we don't. Okay. So we're going to have to say protected rect transform. This will be the rect transform. Then on awake, we'll just have to grab a reference to that. Is equal to get component. This will be rect transform. And then on update, we will say rect transform dot position is equal to, and then we'll say vector3.lerp from rect transform dot position to target at a rate of 0.01f or 0.05 dot position. Basically, we just follow the target. We can say if not target, then we just return. So if we have no target, we just, we don't do anything. Just avoid the null pointer. Yeah, there we go. Not target return. Otherwise, we'll do that. Okay. And that's fine. And so what we need to do is for the overworld map, we need to say that the player, so we will need to check that. We'll say this is the follow target component. Yeah, this is the player. So say serialized field, say player dot target is equal to, and we probably need to store the tiles somewhere. So we'll create a protected, and we probably need these to be up here. Create a protected two-dimensional array. So this will be the overworld tile component, two-dimensional. This will be the tiles. So we'll say tiles is equal to a new overworld tile component with width and height. And then we'll say tiles at xy is equal to tile. Okay, and then we will say the target is equal to tile, tiles of 0, 0 dot GameObject. Oh, not dot GameObject, dot get component rect transform. There we go. We'll set the target to that. So what that'll do is that'll cause the player to move towards the upper, interesting, cause the player to move towards the upper left of the screen at the beginning here. If I did all that right. So this will be the follow target component, and then we don't have a target, so that's fine. Overworld map, you need to reference the player. And we do want to make sure that the player is always on top, so I think don't have the sorting mode, but that's probably fine. Okay, so the ship does move, it's just on the bottom, so I think if we move it here, yeah, okay, it's fine. Right. So yeah, there we go. Now it moves towards the top left, which is where we want it to start. What we need to do is in the overworld tile component, we just need to grab a mouse click. So I think we can do that from using Unity engine.event systems. I think we can use event systems, and I believe we can have this implement I pointer up handler. Sure. I think this is fine. And so what this will do, when I hit new, Unity says no editor is installed. Are you talking about in Unity Hub? Omar? Yeah, so here what you need to do, if you're talking about Unity Hub, it'll have this projects tab. You need to go to the installs tab, and then I think you can add, and it'll ask you what kind of, what install you wanted to do. Yeah, okay. So yeah, it'll ask you what install you want to use, and you have to have at least one. If there's not, if you don't see one in the tab, or if you don't see, you know, a block kind of like this, then you need to click this add button, and it'll ask you which one you want to grab. You probably want to just grab the top one. It's probably fine, 2021. Yeah. I mean, and if it has this little like LTS, that just means long-term support, so that means that it's an old version, but they're still supporting it. I would not grab anything that says alpha because that is probably unstable. Yeah, I did it, top one, it is. Top one, it is, okay. And then I guess whenever you click new, you should get this, but as long as you have an install, you should be fine. But if it doesn't, if it shows an install, it's 1.5 gig, yeah, something like that. Sounds about right. Unity isn't that terribly large. Yeah, once it installs, let me know if you have issues with it, because Unity can be a little bit weird. So the pointer up handler, what that does is that should, whenever you click down, there's two events. There's like if you click the button down, like the mouse button, like the right button, it doesn't do anything. But if you open it, that's the pointer up. It's like pointer down, pointer up. Yeah. Okay, and so we should be tracking the pointer up. So if we click, if we do a left click on any of the tiles, then it should, actually we could just make the tiles buttons. It's a hell of a lot easier. I'm just gonna do that. Screw this. Who needs any of this? We'll just make the tiles buttons. Yeah, that'll work. So say public void on click. And then what we can do is we can store, okay, 20.3.2f1. 3.2, yeah. I have an older version, but yeah, any of the 2021 should probably be basically identical for all intents and purposes. This will be the map. Actually, we don't need to probably do public void initialize. Nope. Initialize. And we will pass in an overworld map component. This will be a map. We'll say map is equal to map. And then we will say map dot on click, or map dot, I guess, tile clicked, just so that the map can deal with this. Say int x and int y. That'll probably be fine. I mean, I guess we could pass the tile. Yeah, that's probably better. Just say tile clicked this. Then let's go into the map itself, and we will just create that. So we'll say public void tile clicked, or on tile clicked tile component. This will be the tile, and then we'll just say player.target is equal to tile dot transform, or no, dot get component rect transform. Yeah, okay. Let's be on tile clicked. Okay. And then what we need to do is in here, whenever we create a tile, we need to call tile.initialize using this map component. So now if we go into, where is it? The overworld map. Oh, hi, what happened to the fourth panel? Oh, the commands thing, like the commands panel. So I don't have that set up yet. So Omar, I need to set up Streamlabs or something. So I need to set up some kind of bot before I put that up, just so that it works. But yeah, I need to set that up first. I tried to do it earlier, but I was unable to get it all working. Like there's some weird steps to get bots set up. I'm gonna do that at some point. Like for the dungeon crawler stuff, I just sort of appended to the end of one of the other ones, but yeah. So in the template, what we can do is we can add a button component, and so this will make it so that we can register on-click events. So we can just set this on-click here. We can put the overworld tile component in there, and we can say overworld tile component on-click. So now it'll forward whatever click call happens to that method. Then we can copy this. We can paste this here. It's the highlighted color, so let's just make it a bit lighter when it's highlighted. And then let's make it a bit darker when it's pressed. That'll work. And then we can copy, paste, and yeah, oh, that's fine. Okay. I'm trying to think, did I miss anything? I don't think I missed anything. I think it's all fine. Okay, so now we can highlight the different tiles. And yeah, so clicking on each one. Yeah, okay, that's cool. I like that. And now I can move around a little bit. It's a question of whether I want to limit where the player can move or whether they need to move anywhere. Hi, so Omar, just signed up for the Dungeon Crawler Game Jam 2021. What does that do? Oh, so signing up for it doesn't do anything. But if you want to participate in it, I always recommend signing up for it. But that's just if you want to participate. You can always leave it if you want to. But the actual game jam itself, all it does, oh, that's interesting. All the game jam is basically people compete for like 7 days. I think it's 7 days, right? Yeah, it's 7 days to see if they can make a game in 7 days. And yeah, that's what game jams are. And of course, you can always find a list of game jams that are running. Actually, Bullet Hell looks cool. I might have to work on this one at some point. But yeah, I only recommend signing up for it if you want to compete for it. If you want to compete in it, but you know. So yeah, we have this. So now it's a question of whether I want to make it so that players are allowed to move anywhere or whether or not they can move. Yeah, it's definitely a question. So I think for this game I was going to get rid of the energy system and just make it so that you straight up move 1 square per turn. So that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. So you need at least 7 turns to get from one side to the other. I think that's fine. Trying to think. Yeah, I think it's fine. Yeah, we can always limit it. Well, you can always add limitations later. So what I want to happen. Right, okay. So when the player clicks on a tile, what needs to happen is there needs to like a like combat sort of GUI needs to appear, and it needs to show some of like the ship-to-ship combat stuff. And then after that goes away, and after all of that's resolved, then it needs to what is it? Then it needs to actually spawn the map and everything. So we need a way to hide this map. Is one thing we need to be able to do. And yeah, okay. So let me think about this. Okay. I think I know what I'm going to do. So the player, we can disappear that for now because we don't need it. But what we can do is I want to create a UI, let's say UI panel. Let's say that this is 240 on that side and 240 on that side. Let's sort of darken it like that. All right, this will be the combat screen. Actually, let's create a parent. This will be the curtain. And this will be the combat screen. With a height and width of 0. Oh, right. Actually, no, it won't. It'll have a margin at 0, 0, 0. And the curtain's margin will be at 0, 0, 0. Okay, so that will block everything else out while we're doing combat. And so what I wanted was kind of like a skill sort of thing. Like you have to stop the arrow at the right point sort of system. So I think I determined like the optimal size for this was like 600. No, maybe it was like 700 by like 300. 500? 500. Yeah, something like that. That's probably fine. So yeah, something like that. And then this will be the actual like window. And then we need sort of like the arrow type thing. Thinking like this, maybe have a width of 600 because that makes it easier to think about. Have no background, maybe have the height be 10? No, 5. Can have full alpha, of course. Maybe have the height be like 8 or something. Yeah, something like that. So the idea is that you're going to have, this is the bar, there'll be some kind of arrow object. There'll be a image, sure. And I thought we had arrow. Yeah, there we go. So this will be the arrow. Actually, let's create a parent for that. Call this the arrow. This will be top, or sorry, this will be the bottom. And we can set this to have a height and width of 0. The width can be maybe 20 by 20. No, 30 by 30. And it can be completely black. Say 20 by 20. 20 by 20. Yeah, okay. That's probably way too tiny. So yeah, 30 by 30. Okay, that'll work. And then we will have this be at, let's say, minus 20. And then this will be the top. This will be at positive 20. And I guess we can just invert the rendering here. Yeah, there we go. So what we'll do is it'll be one of those things where like the arrow kind of moves back and forth and you have to stop it at the right point. I think that'll be fine. Let's create some kind of UI button. Yeah, it'll be the Text Mesh Pro version. And I guess it'll be like 300 by 50. It's probably fine. Yeah, we'll say by 60. This can be bold, that can be 30, 40. Yeah, there we go. And whatever the text might be. This will be the label. Okay. So yeah, we somehow need to get this to go back, not that. Somehow need that to go back and forth. And then we need some kind of range where it'll be like optimal to stop it or something. So how are we going to do this to make it go back and forth? Really based on the width of the actual bar, right? So we could probably use a sine wave for this. Or a cosine wave. One of the two. Also, I think I'm invisible? Yes, I'm invisible. There we go. Now, of course, the light's going to appear, so I will be less visible? No. Okay. Not having any issues with it. So good. We can undo that. And then we'll have whatever the combat phase is will appear at the top. I can't remember what all the combat phases were. There were 2 or 3. But we won't worry about it so much. What we need to do is we need to create a combat controller component. Yeah, that'll work. So combat controller component. Say public class. This will be a combat phase. Let's say public string. Well, is that what we're gonna do? No, we won't worry about that for now. Let's do using TM Pro, so we can actually use some of the text mesh stuff. Yeah, text mesh. Yes, that's right. Okay, and so I guess the first thing we want to do is we want to get that sort of bar thing working. So for that, I think that's going to be a rect transform, so it'll be protected rect transform, and this will be the arrow. We'll have a serialized field. What we'll do is private void update. We can say arrow. Say arrow dot transform. Is it just position or is it anchored position? I think it's anchored position. I think that's new vector 2 arrow dot anchored position. So this is the X, and then this is the arrow dot anchored position. Oops. Anchored position dot Y, whatever that might be. This is the X. Okay, so we get an X here, and we get the X here. What we need to do, instead of doing that, instead of having the X value, it's going to be X all across and then Y vertically. So we're going to have, this is basically going to be 600 plus, is it 600 plus? No, it's 300 plus. 300 because the width is 600. Actually, no, it isn't that. It's 300 times mathf.sine of time.time. And that should range from minus 300 to positive 300. So that should move the bar back and forth on the screen. Or the arrow back and forth on the bar. That's what should happen, if I did that right. So if we put the combat controller component, and then we have the arrow here, because this, if we give it a minus 300 position, that's all the way at the other edge. So yeah, it should go back and forth now. Yeah, that's essentially what we want, but not in that harmonic of a way. That's very interesting. Okay, have to deal with that. So we'll say there's a protected, we need a speed. So I don't know, 3 times the speed. Then we probably need a protected rect transform. Need to know what the bar is. That way we can read the width from the actual bar itself. So this is bar dot, is it size delta dot x over 2? So I think that'll give us half the size of the bar. I think that's right. And then we say time dot time times speed. And then we can just serialize this. And let's see what happens. Something exploded. That's because we have not registered the bar to the actual component. Yes. Okay. Let's check this out. Okay, yeah, there we go. So whenever we push the button here, what we want is we want for this arrow to stop. So what we will do